from Hallmark. A wish that all our families can be together this Christmas.
I want you to listen to this. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Happy holidays from Blood and Black Rum Podcast. This Christmas, we're doing something slightly different. We're bringing you on an adventure through Hallmark Christmas movies, specifically those starring Lacey Chabert, in a series we're calling Chaberting Gifts. You can expect visits from Christmas past and present, trips through Rome, and a whole lot more. We hope you enjoy our very festive and slightly romantic approach to this year's Christmas season. And just remember, heavy petting is not allowed.
Goulet.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from ClosePlantation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
Doing well. A little late on this episode. Sorry about that. Holidays got in the way, of course, festivities and everything. But we are continuing our excellent Chaberting Gifts series with another episode of a Lacey Chabert Hallmark movie. And this time, because we're post-Christmas, we're going to forgo the Christmas holiday in this movie. And instead, we thought, what if we took one that had... Well, first of all, I looked for a New Year's movie with Lacey Chabert. And this bitch doesn't have one. Why isn't she doing any New Year? Well, actually, we should question, why isn't Hallmark doing many New Year's movies? Because it just makes sense. You know, they have, 3 months of Christmas movies. Why don't they have any New Year's movies after Christmas ends?
There should be a Haul Out the Holly supplementary film to go with, you know.
That's right. Like Haul in the Holly, the New Year's movie.
Where's the, also too, because these films like to borrow a lot of Canadian actors. Where's like Boxing Day, you know?
Ooh, that's true. Why don't they have Love on Boxing Day or something like that?
Cleaning up the mistakes on Boxing Day, like.
And I believe, like, for Canada, Boxing Day is a really big shopping day for them. You know, it's kind of like a Black Friday of Canada. So, yeah, it should be like a big shopping movie where they go shopping and all of a sudden they fall in love at a big mall or something, and it all happens on Boxing Day. It would be magical.
No, that's where like the clean up is. Like you wake up and you're like, hey, you weren't wearing a condom.
Oh. Let's go out on Boxing Day and get the Plan B. and the whole movie is revolving around mishaps where they can't find it in stores. It's all sold out.
It's like, hey, when I said put it there, I didn't mean put it there, you fucking weird.
Plan B mishap. Yeah, no, but they didn't have any New Year's movies, which is unfortunate. But the next best thing was a movie that takes place just in the wintertime. Right, it's just like it's kind of like a nondescript time period,
just winter,
and it also takes place in Colorado. So it could have been like in the ski resort area. So it could have been any time really. We could be talking March here. You know, no, it's like I said, it's a nondescript time. The what I watched this on, they actually had, it was like a rebroadcast of it, and they had like Kitten Bowl coming up. You know, and stuff like that. So it's obviously sometime around February when they aired it, or close to it. I think it was like January sometime. But yeah, it's a good movie to lead us out in Chaberting Gifts, because it's still a Lacey Chabert Hallmark romance movie, but it's not based around Christmas, but it does have winter in it. So, and you had said, now that we've opened this bag of gifts, we're going to have to do every single Lacey Chabert Hallmark movie.
We've committed to the bit.
Yeah, and does that include the Hallmark movies and mysteries one?
Those are probably going to be the best one.
The tango ones. The detective did the tango. It's like a Hallmark's version of a giallo film. Like it's got like sort of some of those names like that. A detective tangos twice. So with the alliteration of a giallo film,
yeah. But. Those are the ones I'm most interested in. Probably the best ones. Like, it's like
the crossword puzzle murders.
Lacey Chabert and who took Dookie in the urinal.
They really messed up the bathroom in that museum. We need to find the culprit. I am curious to see how Lacey comes off as a detective, like the a cozy mystery style detective.
I know, seeing as the only job she's had so far is event plan.
It really feels like with the Hallmark movies too. They Hallmark was like, we need something else. We got to have more. We can't just have Christmas movies all year long. And they're like, well, cozy mystery genre in books is really popular. Like people write about cats solving murders all the time. Why don't we just, why don't we just?
That's what's defined as a cozy. Like what I was just about to ask you. What does the genre of cozy mystery even like entail?
Well,
like
technically,
tale of the missing candy cane with cocoa.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. It's like it's kind of like what they are doing for the Lacey Chabert ones, it sounds like, which is having a unlikely person solve the murder because the police are so inept. They're like, we need to get someone on this case that's not a part of the police force. No one's worked it before. We're a small town. We don't know how to solve murders. But, and so they get like a person to do it. And then normally they are situated around various elements of like hobbies, right? Like the sewing circle, like, oh, the sewing group gets together and all of a sudden there's a gruesome murder in town. And they're like, let's solve it while we're drinking hot toddies and sitting around in our sewing circle. And that's a cozy. It kind of started by Agatha Christie because some of Agatha Christie's, mysteries were kind of considered cozies, although they were a little bit more serious than what cozies have kind of come out with.
Oh, I thought you were going to say racist.
That too in some of them, but
because they're Victorian.
It's no, actually they're not. They're like in early 1930s, 1950s, somewhere.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So I was totally off the mark on that.
Yeah, not as old as that. But yeah. So Agatha Christie kind of started those a little bit. Like obviously cozies were, they wasn't like labeled cozy, but like some of Miss Marple's cases in the Agatha Christie world would be a cozy. And now it encompasses pretty much everything. So you got like cats. There's like the topic is cats. There's like a random cat and they have a cat and then they solve mysteries. Or the dogs. There's a big ones about dogs too, like the Bow Wow Before Christmas and stuff like that. So
Airbuds graduated from putting a ball in the hole to Richard Karn's delight, and now it's moved on to
yeah. And then you've got like I just read one during Halloween season about a haunted library that solves murders. It's just like the lady that works at a library. It's also haunted, and there's a murder too. And to a certain point, you have to question these cozies and like, how can this person keep stumbling upon murders? Not how many murders I've stumbled upon in my 34 years of life.
I was just saying,
none.
Don't short shrift yourself there.
Yeah, none.
Well,
I've never.
I'll say also too, the fun part about these things, like there's a murder in town and this is like the first murder in like our history. What do we do? Like we had one here like a decade ago. We don't have a police force in the town that we live. We have like a state trooper barracks, but we don't have an actual police force. The FBI showed up. So like,
right.
Like, all right. Like,
no.
Like to come down and be like, all right, we got to put some work in today. Can't just be looking for, terrorists.
I know. So that's like what it reminds me of though. Like Hallmark was basically just throwing out there like, yeah, cozy mysteries. They're very popular in the book genre. Let's just make some. And that's
what's the Dean Koontz version?
The Dean Koontz version of a cozy? It's a good question. I don't really know. Dean Koontz doesn't really do cozies. What he does is he doesn't anymore. What he really does now, he has like basically a formula in his notebook, basically. And it's like, take this kind of, wacky serial killer type guy who's obviously evil, right? Like there's no good about him whatsoever. He doesn't really have any good qualities. And this unlikely protagonist who probably also has a dog somewhere, and sometimes get in a kid in there too. Kid helps out too. Very precocious, very smart, kind of genius like figure. And together they help stop this evil bastard from doing stuff. And that's pretty much the new Dean Koontz formula of like pretty much every book that he's been writing. Here and there, he'll throw in some supernatural elements or something. But yeah, he's got a formula that's been going on. It's working very well because Amazon has a deal with him. He puts out like 3 books a year.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
you're not writing at that point.
I am kind of under the impression that he must have some sort of ghostwriter. You know, it definitely seems like he probably writes a majority of it, but he's probably got a ghostwriter just kind of like stuffing it here and there. It would be my guess. You know, James Patterson too. He definitely has ghostwriters. He fucking is pumping. He pumps out like 20 books a year with his name on it, but it's basically written by someone else.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
he like basically writes the template. He's like, here's what I think should happen. And then like, here you go. My guest writer is going to go write the rest of this. So helps get people's names on books. But yeah, James Patterson's raking in the money from that shit.
So I guess we're probably going to be doing the Roman Polanski film Ghost Rider.
There you go. All right. So I guess we should get to the movie on hand though. Way off topic there. We're covering Winter in Vail. Vail being the town in Colorado, ski resort style town. Popular tourist attraction. It's not as well known as the other, the Aspen, Colorado, that, big ski resort town. I think Aspen's bigger than Vail, but I don't really know because I'm not a rich person. I don't go to these fucking places. I don't ski, for Christ's sakes. It's kind of interesting too in this movie that the protagonist does not ski and moves to Vail, because you would think that this movie being basically a tourist brochure for Vail, they would want to get in some skiing in here, but no.
Well, I think as we discussed before, these films are literally just Lacey Chabert says, you know what would be fun for me to do?
Yeah.
I want to go eat biscotti in Rome. Right away, Miss Chabert. We got a film for you.
On the next flight.
Same thing with this one. I feel like she was like, I want to eat schnitzel and have hot cocoa in the winter. You got it. It's just Lacey Chabert's like to-do list. Like, I haven't done that yet.
Pretty much. It's it's like, and like you said, they basically do this Mad Lib style. So they're like, well, do we have a script that can accommodate that? It's like a failing restaurant. Yep, we could do that one. Throw it in Vail, get Miss Chabert on a plane out there right now. And yeah, that's basically it. But they also act as like, again, like we said in Christmas in Rome, it's like, oh, you poor schlub, you'll never get to Rome. So here you go. Here's this Hallmark movie where you can see what it might be like if you were as charmed as Lacey Chabert to get down there. But you're not. You won't go there. So here's the best you're going to see of it with Franco Nero.
I know that's what this film is missing. Is
all these films star power. They all need to get some cult film actor in here. It's like,
where's Trey Parker, showing up, as the Colorado star, and Matt Stone as like the Colorado star power here to be like,
too bad they couldn't unearth like Lee Van Cleef for one of these.
Scotch in hand, yeah.
Zombie Lee, it's time to get up. We need you. We need you for Winter in Vail.
You just hear Primus's bass line. Bam.
Would be great. I would kill this G. Lee Van Cleef in a Hallmark movie. It's just too bad. It's just bad he wasn't around for that. He had to be born in the 20s. It's a bummer.
But no, but yeah, like these like this film, just like the rest of them, it's set in a picturesque location, and it's literally just a check off of like, here's some fun things Lacey would like to do this week. Make it happen. It's great.
And I think she's pretty much exactly like producer on this too, right? Like
now she is. She wasn't
for this one. I don't know about. This is actually, we should point out, this is actually kind of an earlier film. It's 2020, so the ones that we've done have actually been after this movie was made. So Christmas in Rome was 2021. Christmas at Castle Hart was 2022. Haul Out the Holly was 2022. So
a melody, Christmas Melody was like 2014.
Yeah, that was very early. What was Maybe Christmas at Castle Hart was like, no, Christmas at Castle Hart was 2021. Didn't we do one from 2019 as well?
That was Christmas in Rome.
Oh, Christmas in Rome was 2019. Oh, I had that wrong. Okay, so Christmas in Rome was earlier than this. My bad. They're probably all made around the same time. They just probably had Lacey on flights. All right, Miss Lacey, you're going to Rome next. Going to Vail. And then they just pump them out all at different times. All right, we've done enough setup here. Let's take a break and talk about the beer that we have on the show today. And it's a nice special one for Sunday as well, which is when we're recording this episode. On New Year's Eve, actually. Good for, football day. And this one is touches Martin's heart. It was one that really stood out to him. I'll let you take it away. Well, you could talk about it first.
No, I thought you were going to start playing Chicago's Hear the Inspiration. Like, have that keyboard keyed up. Like,
I know, I do need to get, because we do use.
Well, you know what? Instead of asking your dad for an Oculus Rift for fucking Christmas,
I should have gotten
ask for a soundboard.
Yeah, that's right. I should have gotten that. But you know what? We have a soundboard available to us, and we just don't use it on here. So I do need to keep some stuff to put on the soundboard and just rip it out every now and then. We don't make enough use of it.
Yeah, well, it'd make it much more. You know what? We should go for more sports talk radio style of wild and wacky antics, hot takes, and sound drops.
I mean, yeah, I still do have this one. Still got that one on there, but
well, you know what? Don't play that because the Yankees are terrible.
Still got that one. I have a couple on here, but I got drum roll too. I think. So if we ever need a lead up to your joke or something, we could do that.
Oh, then do you have a rim shot?
I don't know if that one leads into the shot. But enough dicking around. What do we got for the beer on the show today?
So, one of the posts that was recently posted by our local beer shop was this beer, and I was like, hey, you should get it. It'd be nice to have. It's brought to you by Beer Tree, which is based out of the Forgotten region of New York, the southern tier.
And I don't know why. I always think Beer Tree's in Massachusetts for some reason. Maybe I'm getting...
You're thinking of Treehouse.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It just, whenever I think Beer Tree, I'm like, oh, Massachusetts.
Well, I always thought they were down in, the Catskills, so...
We're all over the place. We don't know where...
But they're not. They're based in the southern tier, the Forgotten part of New York State. Which means, excuse me, by default, they have to also be Bills fans. So, they have for us today this wonderful white trash can that will go on my mantle because it's beautifully decorated with the Zubaz print. That is one of the reasons why I have a Labatt can saved. That when they were doing the Zubaz editions and they had the Bills one. So today they have out right now a Buffalo Bills inspired Pilsner. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. Buffalo Bills style Pilsner. It's in this nice, beautiful Zubaz can with the old school Bills logo on there from the 60s. And it's called Pills by a Billion. And it's 4.3 ABV Pilsner. And it is delightful. But I do have a problem with it.
What's that?
And that's not the beer itself. It should be illegal to sell Pilsners by 4-packs.
Yeah.
Totally defeats the purpose of drinking them. What are you going to do with a 4-pack of a Pilsner?
Can you imagine showing up to a football game? You're like, hey guys, brought the beer. It's a 4-pack. Only 2 of you are going to be able to have some of it.
I got this wonderful Czech style Pilsner. Oh, great. I have enough for 2 of you.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's like 6 people out there like, oh, great. A 4. What are we going to do with that? Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's a little insulting when you go and you get a Pilsner like that, And I do have to say, because I bought this one, it was on the cheaper side for what you get from Beer Tree. But still, I mean, come on. you need a 6-pack. And even if that means not making the tall boy cans, but you put it in a 6-pack of regular 12-ounce cans, okay. But the 4-pack thing for a Pilsner, I think, has got to go. It's a dumb,
It's totally antithetical to the style of beer that you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole reason why 4-packs exist is because the 6-pack is for your lighter, more, crushable, delightful beers. That's why you can get a 6-pack, even like an IPA. That's like, just a regular bog standard, like West Coast IPA or something. And it's like, oh, that's great. But for the double variant or the triple variant, they're in 4-packs because they have much, more gasoline to them, much more kick, much more potency. So, you're not going to be plowing through them on a Sunday as you watch the Bills crush the Patriots 42-7. Still. But overall, though, this is a very good Pilsner. It's very light, very crisp, very refreshing. Got a great body, great mouthfeel. It's got a nice, subtle, crisp, breadiness to it. Little hoppy note to it. Nothing, too overwhelming. A lot like a Pilsner or a Colt. Just like a delightful, wonderful, crisp, refreshing beer to drink.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not really doing anything different, but as a Pilsner, you're not really expecting it to either. I think you're right in that it's not like a normal American style Pilsner. It's more of a Czech style Pilsner. It's got a nice body to it.
It says American on the website, but
I would disagree. It doesn't really have, like, if somebody was like accustomed to drinking like a Coors or a Miller Lite or something like that, and they tasted this, they'd be like, that doesn't really taste like what I normally have. I think it definitely, it's definitely not like a Pilsner or Kel, but it's definitely got more of a, it's got that malty breadiness to it that you get from more of a Czech style Pilsner. I think it's really good though. It's kind of bog standard, but again, you're not really looking for them to reinvent anything by a standard Pilsner. And I think for Bills fans, this one really stands out with the Zubaz can. It's really cool.
If you're a craft beer, as I say, if you're a craft beers fan and you're looking for something enjoyable and you're a Bills fan like I am, it's right up your alley because it's a hell of a lot better than Pils Mafia.
Yep. And then the other thing that I would say too is if you've seen, if you looked on Untapped, some people are giving this a 1. If you're giving a Pilsner a 1, you are not a beer fan.
Why are they giving it a 1?
I don't know. But I've seen like some people give it like a 1. You're not a beer fan if you can't enjoy a nice Pilsner. That's what's called snob. It's a snob. Because if you can't enjoy the nice Pilsner style,
I know, listening to the people who are like, if it's not like 12%, it's, trash.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you have to be able to, if you're really a beer fan, that's not saying like if a beer is truly bad, like you should like it. This beer is obviously not bad. It's a good Pilsner. And if you can't enjoy a nice standard Pilsner, then what are you doing drinking beer? You can't be a self-proclaimed beer fanatic if you don't like or most of the styles. I mean, obviously you don't need to like every single style and be a beer fan. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper here and tell you got to like a Rauch beer and, you don't like smoky flavors, but, you got to like a Pilsner and you got to appreciate the simplicity sometimes of just having a Pilsner instead of all those flavors of all the hops that are thrown in there. So this is a really good one from Beer Tree. Never really been disappointed by Beer Tree, to be honest with you.
Look at that. 1, 2, yeah, look at this asshole. A 1. Go fuck yourself. 2 1/4. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. The can alone makes it worth more than a 1.
Because, other half, it's other half, right, that makes Pils Mafia?
No, it is,
Thin Man, sorry.
Thin Man. Yeah, Thin Man. Pils Mafia. I don't think I had that one. I think you had that one. I don't know.
And which Pils Mafia isn't bad. It is a good beer. It's definitely not bad. I'm not throwing too much shade at Thin Man, but I think, Beer Tree does a better job. And again, like the Pils Mafia cans, like if you remember the joke from the Fairly Odd Parents, and Dad's eating a box of Chesteros. He's like, these make me big and strong. And Timmy's like, don't you want a box of Timios? And he's like, son, those are for pack mules. I need to achieve. Like, the difference in presentation is right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Thin Man Pils Mafia, while nice, it's Timios. It's for pack mules. Pills by a billion. Shit, those are Chesteros.
There you go. All right, so let's talk about Winter in Vail. This movie is pretty much a culmination of all of the ones that we talked about. And, to be honest with you, like we said, Christmas in Rome actually happened in 2019. And then this one came out in 2020. And this movie is basically a combination of Christmas in Rome and Christmas at Castle Hart. In my opinion, I think those two together are really like mashed into one, and it's Winter in Vail.
A lot of synergy.
Like, because the ideas here are pretty much very similar to Christmas in Rome. It's like Lacey Chabert is moving to a different area. At least in Christmas in Rome, we didn't see her move to Rome. Like, that was just kind of like a thing she had done. Yeah, in the past, and now we're meeting her. In Winter in Vail, her Uncle Grady, who sounds like a fucking amazing guy. This guy, I wish I had met this guy when he was alive, because everybody in this movie talks about like Grady.
They should have renamed the town Gradyville. Like,
I know. It's like, Grady, he was amazing. He gave me all of his money.
He cured my rickets. Yeah.
Yeah, the film treats him like he's like some bastion of hope here. Is they've got, instead of, in like Brazil, they have the statue of Jesus, and like in Vail, they have fucking Grady.
It's not Cristo. It's not Cristo Retanto. It's Grady's.
Yeah.
No, but also too, it's such a fucking stupid thing, because she's like, oh, I got mail from my uncle. Uncle's lawyer. Didn't he die? Like, yeah, he's dead. Oh, he left me his chalet, which I haven't seen him in like a decade. Like, you mean to tell me you were so important to your uncle? Like,
yeah, because she even says, she's like, yeah, he invited me up there like last year, but I couldn't go because I
like for not last year, for years. But she's been too busy. Yeah. She's just been too busy at the LA grind to stop and take a trip up to Colorado.
So apparently Grady was such a nice guy. He was like, well, even though my niece hasn't visited me, seems like she's just way too busy and too important for little old Uncle Grady. I'm so nice that I'm going to leave her my chalet anyway, because I really think she'd like it up here in Vail.
Well, what's the estate tax like in Colorado? Because maybe that's like,
I'm going to fuck her over with estate taxes.
Because maybe that's how he's getting back at her. Like, fuck.
It's like when you go on The Price is Right and you win $120,000, and you're like, joke's on you. It's going to be about $10,000 after we take out the taxes. Joke's on you. But yeah, like, the idea is that he leaves her the chalet in Vail, Colorado, and she's like, wow, you know what? I don't really like my life right now. I've been working so much, and I didn't get that promotion as vice president. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to quit my job. I'm just going to move up to Vail, and I'm going to live in this new chalet that I was left. And like, people are around her are like, sure, that's a good idea. Have you seen the chalet? Do you know, like, is this like the Chicken Shack chalet at Great Escape? Like, is it just like, smells like oil fryer? Like, have you seen it yet? You never visited Uncle Grady, so you don't know what it's like.
Up in Vail. Like, you haven't even been up there,
Yeah, is it like just a shack in the woods?
Because he's seen her. I mean, she hasn't seen her since he's moved up to Vail, so
right.
She has no clue what she's getting into. It's just a whim.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, wouldn't it be great if you could just like pick up your life and move it, and just get out of a shitty situation? You didn't get the you're not going to be VP anymore, so instead you're just going to move to a different location, like all the way. Well, she's in LA, right? So she moves to Colorado. And again, this movie, like just like A Christmas Melody, is like, LA. Wow, what a tropical place! What an exotic area! I can't believe you moved from big old LA to little old Colorado over here.
took your Toyota RAV4 and drove all the way up to Colorado.
I really too. I love like the way that these movies always treat the moves and stuff like that, where it's just like, you know, a massive move across the country with all your stuff, and they just don't show it, and they're just like, "Oh wow, I just took a nice little jaunty drive up here. It was so fun." And like, you didn't see like 17 U-Hauls taking bring us the bill is like $20,000 for renting all the U-Hauls. Would it be nice if you just had like the money and time to just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna move. It's just that easy. I don't know why immigrants just don't do that. Why don't Mexicans? Why don't they just legally come in here with a green card and just move? It's easy, not hard.
Anybody can fucking move and immigrate.
Move. You just do it. You don't worry about the consequences.
Well, what's also funny too, again, like the plain spoken Mad Lib bluntness of like the whole setup of like as they're describing her situation, because again, you don't see her like rent getting hiked or anything, or like the troubles she's in. She's like, yeah, after I broke up with Bryce and my rent got hiked up and the car trouble that I have, I'm off to a great start this year. You know, and it's like you don't see any of that play out. You don't see her breaking up with her shitty boyfriend Bryce. You don't see her landlord going, "Hey, your rent's now $4,000 a month. Pay up, bitch." And you don't see like, you know, her car catching on, you know, on fire or anything. She's just like, you know,
that stuff would be too real for the movie. People tuning into the Hallmark movies, they don't want to see the real.
But she's still going to a lunch at this fancy-ass restaurant in L.A. just to order a garden salad with side ranch.
I get the usual, the garden salad with side, and it's like that's not a usual. That's just like a normal person's order. Sometimes it's just like a garden salad with ranch is just what somebody comes in one time and gets with like their French onion dip. That's not a lunch.
I say that's not a meal to be like, I'll have the garden salad with side ranch. You don't want to try their prime rib? No.
and probably at that restaurant, it's probably like $30 for that salad. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, so she moves to Vail.
They charge $3 a crouton, so I have to I have to limit my crouton.
It's kind of like a Christmas at Castle Heart too, where it's like, we're so poor, and then you see their apartment. It's like fucking massive ass apartment.
It's Scream 7, yeah. Like, we can't afford our apartment, and it's like, yeah, because you have this fucking magnificent view of Midtown.
Mm. So you'd have the Christmas in Rome part of moving to a different, like being in a different location, being in like a, you know, touristy attraction place that in Christmas in Rome is Rome.
Quitting or getting fired from your job.
Yep. In this movie, it is Vail. And then you have her being an event planner, which is Christmas at Castle Heart. She's an event planner at Christmas at Castle Heart. And in this case, she leaves an event planning place, which is called Elegant Events, which is, you know.
How is that like the top premier like LA event thing? Like, oh,
if I saw that listed on Google, I'd think it's like a fucking fake ad, a spam ad.
Like,
some Elegant Events business.
Some Indian knockoff, like, you know, spam business. Like,
yeah, I'm not clicking on that. It's going to steal my identity. So I don't necessarily buy that someone who was like Elegant Events. Yeah, that's the best place that I'm going to be able to do my event planning with.
Don't you love too that when she's doing her pitch in the beginning, it's like the Swiss Alps, and this is basically like America's Swiss Alps that, you know, she's, you know, having her transformation at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the move to Vail. It's great. And it's, you know, to be honest with you, like the first part when we see Vail looks nice and picturesque, right? Like I've never been to Vail. I don't really know much about Vail besides the fact that it's a ski resort town. I did look it up after this movie, and yes, it is modeled after a Bavarian village, which is kind of cool. Like that in terms of where I would like to visit in Colorado, that definitely bumps Vail up a little bit. And I've never really thought about like, oh, I want to go to Colorado. But if I did, because I don't ski or snowboard or anything like that. But if I did want to go to Colorado, visiting a Bavarian village probably be up a little bit higher on my list.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of the shots were of Alberta.
They were shot in Alberta, Canada. All right, well then I guess
like they did some shooting in Vail, but most of it was done in Alberta, Canada.
I guess that trumps it. Then I'm going to Alberta instead.
Well, you want to know why you should go to Alberta, Canada?
What is that?
Canadian Hero is from there.
Oh,
Bret Hitman Hart.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, Bret Hart, Canadian Hero. He's from Alberta, Canada.
So she moves to Vail. She finds the chalet, and I was actually thinking even before she gets to the chalet, I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny in like a kind of like a parody of a Hallmark movie if she got to the chalet and it was like absolutely trash, like shitty, terrible chalet, and she's dealing with it, and yet she gets there and it is in the process of being remodeled.
Would you really even call that a chalet? It's just a house.
It's like a cabiny house, right?
It's just literally like a regular old bog standard ski resort house.
Yeah, it's like a cabiny house, and it's got like that wraparound deck, which I really like too, because the movie brings up the fact that her love interest is an architect, and it's like the big thing about him being an architect, Owen, his name is that he designed this wraparound deck. And it's like, dude, it's just a fucking deck that goes around the house. What is there to design? It's literally just a deck it's like a square deck around the house. It's not a design.
That's why he's also a contractor.
Right. That's why he's not an architect. That's why he's not succeeded. It's not because his dad has a failing restaurant.
He's not bringing anything new
to the table. He's not Frank Lloyd Wright over here. He's fucking designing a square deck for the house. It's not, it's not rocket science there. Should the deck just be one side of the house? No, it should be all four sides of the house.
He pulled his schematics from a Sears and Roebuck magazine from like 1984. Like, oh, it'd be pretty cool if we had a deck.
Should it be an elevated deck? No, the house isn't elevated. All right, we'll keep it on the ground then. It's not a skyscraper. It's not engineering a bridge. He built a wraparound deck. It's funny though, and I thought too it was kind of funny because when she gets there and like everything's kind of not done, and we find out Owen is the one that's been doing the remodeling on the house, and everything is kind of like in process, but nothing has actually been completed. It would have been funny if you find out like, yeah, he's really not good at construction. He's just not a good general contractor at all.
Hell, the building burned down because it's like, oh, he rewired it wrong, and then you find out it turns out into a Lacey Chabert cozy mystery where she tries to figure out the arson case.
And the other thing that I really like about Hallmark movies in general, but
I was gonna say real quick, she ends up like Cole Phelps. She's like picking shit up, like has nothing to do with what's going on.
The thing I like about the Hallmark movies too is, especially when they need to do things, like we saw this in Haul Out the Holly too, right? When they have to put up decorations, and then the film like cuts to that, it's like a montage, and then it cuts to them like putting one thing up and like there, done, and they didn't actually do anything. This movie has that too, because we see in Winter in Vail, after Owen's doing like the construction and stuff in the house later on
with Buddy Rob.
Yep, with Rob. They are like in a living room area, and he's putting a chandelier up, and he like puts the cap on the top of the chandelier, and he's like, there, wipes his hands, all finished. Like, okay, we didn't see him do any other types of construction. At least he had, not only that, spare pen that they use, but
not only pencil, yeah. Not only that though, too, the whole like restoration of this cabin that's falling apart literally takes in what seems like 2 days. Like
2 days, yeah. They're like doing the floor, they're doing the furnace, they're doing the lights,
the electric, the plumbing, like everything needs to be redone. And like within 2 days, him and his fucking buddy Rob are like,
yeah,
we're done.
You know what? He should just stay. If they're that good, they should stay in general contracting because they can get
not only that too. The fact that's hilarious is that because she's an event planner, she writes down like things that I think are most important that needs to be fixed first. And Owen, which we'll talk about when we first meet him, being kind of the douche lord that he is at first, he's like, you see that, Rob? She wants this done first, but he's already working on the floor, so we're gonna do the floor.
We're gonna do the floors, yeah. And it's like if you hired a general contractor and you said like I would like this done in this order, and the general contractor didn't do it, you'd be like, all right, well, I'm gonna get a different general contractor.
But to be fair, he is kind of right because I mean they were already working on it. So like I would be like, listen, you do what you guys were doing because you already have everything planned out. You get it's not like these are new people on site. It's like so they've already been working on this. I'd be like, you just
I agree.
Do what you need to do, and we'll come back to that.
I agree.
But it's just funny the way he mansplains. He's like, "Damn, you see this list?" Because you have the floor at number 7. We'll bump that up to number 2 because we already have the heating done. We fixed your thermostat, and so we'll put the floor at 2 instead of 7. And she's just like, "Yeah, okay, great, I love you."
The other thing too is like, doesn't she walk in one time and she like hits the thermostat and afterwards she's like, yeah, I hit it and it didn't work.
Well, no, the night before because he fixed, he turned the heat on when they, first, meet at the chalet, and he's like, oh, this is how you have to get it to work, blah, 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 and the heat runs out, and she's like slamming at it the night before to try to get to work, and the next day when they're, up and they're talking, and she's like, oh, I hit the thermostat to try because it wasn't working, and he's like, oh, you hear that, Rob? She hit the thermostat and it didn't work.
Yeah, I'm such an ass. It's so funny.
But that did make me laugh because it is kind of funny. It's
great though. I love like Owen is an asshole at the beginning. Like when she first meets him, she pulls up in town and she doesn't know.
What's funny too, the way she pulls up is very like if it was a RAV4 commercial, like the 2020 Toyota RAV4, like, it acts like it comes to the end where, like it kind of sits on a hill and parks perfectly, like get one today at Toyota Days.
Yeah.
And she gets out of the car and the guy's like, yeah, you can't fucking park there.
He's like, yeah, the what does he say? Like
Kevin
will be really happy about that.
No, Kevin
will be really happy about that. She's like, why? Who's Kevin? It's like, oh, the tow guy. Here he comes right now. He's going to tow you fucking away. Yeah, he's an asshole. He definitely is an asshole. And the other thing I love, too, is that he fucking talks, like, out of his side of his mouth all the time. It's kind of like a Luke Bryan of the Hallmark movies. Or, like, he's got, like, that Clint Eastwood air about him.
Well, that whole part, too, of, like, yeah, you can't park there. Why not? Sign says parking will be towed. And it's like, try that in a small town.
Yeah. It's very funny. It has those elements. It's like, oh, the unlikely duo meeting. They'll never like each other. And then, oh no, who does she hire? Him. It's Owen. He's the general contractor. Oh no. How are they going to ever get along?
And not only that, too, along her way, traipsing through Vail, she runs into the appropriately titled restaurant, Edelweiss. Which, shame on that man for not having that song just blast from his restaurant 24/7,
Yeah, because I guess the thing that the film really wants you to know, this if you get one thing from Winter in Vail, it's that Vail is a German-style town. It's got the Bavarian roots to it. It's got the restaurants that are styled after Bavarian-style German restaurants. And so Edelweiss is that German-style restaurant. And the funny thing that I think about this movie is that, like, if you see, like, the very busy, the film talks about how busy the streets are, how busy Vail is, how touristy it is, and then all of a sudden, this Edelweiss, which is an authentic Bavarian restaurant that you would think like tourists would be flocking to, right? They're like, yeah, we're struggling. It's like a fucking Alpenhaus style German restaurant, massive inside, nicely decorated, and people are like, oh, do you want to go to Edelweiss? No, I don't think so. That looks kind of tacky, kind of cheesy. They're not going there.
Which is funny too, because they blame it on like the celebrity chefs and everything in town. It's like, what, Gordon Ramsay has a shop set up? Like, wouldn't you think like kind of like the charm, especially if it's like this whole
Bavarian style village, right?
Like themed town. Like you would think people would be like, "Who? While we're up here skiing around, pretending we're in, the Bavarian mountains, let's go to the shop called Edelweiss. The girl wears her. They call, I think, a dirndl.
A dirndl.
And
they make an exotic thing called strudel. I've never heard of it before, but
have you ever heard of spitzel noodles?
Like they go in there, they're like tourists go in there, they're like, "Do you guys have the toaster strudel?" No, sorry, this is authentic German strudel. Oh, okay, never mind then.
Which is funny too, because a trivia note on this movie is Lacey Chabert also played a character in Mean Girls, Gretchen Wieners. His father invented the toaster strudel.
Well, that is a good trivia note on IMDb. That's great. But it is funny. Like, I just don't buy it. I don't buy that Edelweiss is like in this dire straits of like, look how fucking fancy it is. Well, how are you keeping the lights on?
Not only that too. It's not like they just have just regular old spitzel noodles. They on the menu is Asiago, like Asiago spitzel. It's like, well, hell, I'll be there every day.
Right. I'm going there.
That sounds heavenly,
It's hilarious. I don't buy this place is in trouble.
You know what they're missing? Hofbrau's chesty ladies.
That's true. That's true.
Bring,
Unfortunately, the one chick is not the chesty lady that you're looking for. And
but also too Hofbrau with their beautiful, boxes of chesty ladies, bringing steins around. That would definitely,
bring fancy.
Bring people around to the fireplace there. Like, oh.
So basically, the idea is in Winthrop Vail is Lacey Chabert, she's an event planner, doesn't have a job, right? Because she picked up, moved. She's kind of falling in love with Owen, who's remodeling her house and hoping to remodel other things in the bedroom. And then
with them not even making one loving look at each other.
That's a little too racy. Sorry for Hallmark. That's definitely too racy.
I say, just like every Hallmark film so far, like
absolutely,
especially like the one scene when they're like in the Edelweiss's dancing room, and we'll talk about more when we get to the ending part. But when they're like, she's like hanging up a light, and he's literally in the camera, and she's like hanging up like the last chandelier. He's looking off to the side the entire time, like like they're telling her, like telling him, like, hey. It's a Hallmark movie. Don't look at her dumpy. Don't look at her dumpy. Don't look at her ass. Don't look at her. You're looking off. The stork brings the children. Look off screen. I was cracking up the entire time at that part. Like it's because it's like again every film that we've seen so far has that level of like intimacy. And I'm like again, it's like the poster too. Again, is like they're holding hands, but like 7 feet apart. It's like a seventh grade
dance. The poster is absolutely exquisitely photoshopped too. You can just tell.
It is like
it's like they weren't even in the same room together when they had that picture taken Photoshop.
It was also during COVID, so
I know. The other thing that I love about the whole idea of their romance is that like they're the unlikely duo, and then the film treats it like there's like it's literally like I think like 10 minutes left in the movie, and there's that whole thing where her job calls her back, and they're like, "We want you back. We'll give you just name your salary, name it, and we'll get you.
You'll even get a corner office.
Yeah, we'll give you, and you got the views of LA." And I was thinking like the views of LA compared to Vail, where you got like fucking snowy mountains in the background, and you got views in LA in the top floor of your suite there, where you're seeing like the smog of LA. Like, what kind of views are you talking about in LA? But anyway, they're like, "Come on back. We'll give you a salary. We'll give you any vice president position you want. We'll just name it. Just name it." And then she does. It's like the conflict there is literally 10 minutes long. It's just a stupid conflict because it's like she's not going to like her job back there. She's going to come running back to Owen. The conflict is really dumb, but the romance itself is okay. Like it's probably better than like Haul Out the Holly, but it's that TVG winter or Hallmark style romance of like they don't touch, they don't pass sultry looks at each other. They basically just exist in the same room and seem like they might like each other a little bit for their personality. And then, barring the fact that both of them are very good looking and, obviously have physical chemistry. There is no physical touch at all in the Hallmark movies to sell anything about the romance. But I think probably the funniest thing about Winter in Vail to me is, obviously Lacey's a event planner in this movie. She doesn't have a job, so she's been looking for jobs, and one comes across to her basically, and she's like, "What if we did a Strudelfest? Is that a thing? Can we do a Strudelfest? Has other people done this?" You would think an event planner would be like, "Wow, I can't believe I came up with this creative idea that's like no one's ever done before. Let's do a Strudelfest." Instead,
not
she's
only that,
Googling on like this like generic search and find site that they show.
It's called Bing.
Yeah.
The funniest part about that though is Owen being like, I literally just took the two words and combined them into one.
She's like, "What is that? Is that a thing? Is that a thing?" He's like, I just took the two words, stuck them together. It's Strudelfest. But you would think like, who cares if anybody's done it before? Let's do it. Strudelfest. Uncle Grady has this fucking kick-ass recipe that everybody's like, I don't know, Uncle Grady, he had this recipe in his head. We don't know where the recipe went. And it's like literally in his house, just in
right under the counter. Like, yeah, she's like, oh. Carl's got tears down his eyes, like, my friend, he left it for me, and like they should have had like Skinner's Tuesdays Gone playing in the background, like, I
also really like too with Carl. Like, Carl's great. The actor's great. He's really hamming it up. I love it. But I also like that they named him Carl with a K. So like you had that German element to it.
Yeah, so you know it's like
no, he's not Carl with a C, Americanized. No, he's authentic German. He's got a Carl with a K. It's crazy. It's funny. So she sets up this Strudelfest. It's an event for Vail, and she organizes it in like 4 days or something like that. They're like, "Are you sure you can get this together in 4 days?" She's like, "I'm an event planner."
I love too also like how just they have these random people in Vail too that they can also go to be like partake, and everyone's like, "Oh."
They've got like all the shopkeepers. They're like, "Yeah, I have a what does the one do? I can't remember." There's like they're all like very like specific shops too that they have.
Well, again, like the one girl, like lady they cross country ski to, and like she's got a fondue restaurant.
Yeah, that's right, the fondue restaurant.
Which again too is also like Lacey says like, wouldn't it be great if I had some fondue? And they're like, you heard the lady. Get her
you a fondue. Like, oh, this is the nice cheese fondue. And they're like, wait till you get the chocolate fondue. And then they have the hot cocoa bombs, which is like
literally the most ridiculous thing ever. That's like literally the most bourgeois, like overly like touristy, decadent bullshit nonsense like I've ever heard in my life. Like watching that lady make that hot chocolate. It's like literally like, again, that's how you know these films again are like women porn, because it's like the most over the top, like bourgeois, like I dreamed a dream and this is what I came up with. Like, wouldn't it be great if I had my hot cocoa with gold dust sprinkles and I put it together with little Irish cream marshmallows, and then you put the bomb and the
little mini marshmallows.
Yeah, like it's literally like the most ridiculous. Like, I imagine it's probably good, but at the same time too, it's literally the most like ridiculous concoct. Like the lady, like after they started drinking it, she's like, and they're like, "Oh, this is great," and she's like, "That's $95."
Yeah, right.
That's the part you're missing for like your 12-ounce hot cocoa. Like that'll be $95.
Right, because like they wouldn't like they're not like giving them a free tasting. Why would they give them a free tasting? They're like, yeah, this is what we do. We invite you in, you could talk to the chef, and then you pay $95 to have that nice hot cocoa with her.
And then all the pastries they eat too, because later you see him in like the hotel like lobby, and he's got like 9 different puff pastries that are like decadent and ridiculous. He's like, It's like fucking Home Alone 2 at the end. Like, Kevin, you spent like $7,000 on like.
I know. Yeah. I like well too, like hot cocoa bombs have like really proliferated. They're like a big thing now. So like you can go to Target and buy like $1.99 hot cocoa bomb.
Well,
and
these movies are for those women.
Yeah, you got like mini marshmallows in there. But I love that. And then Lacey Chabert goes back to LA that, you know, at the end where it's like the conflict. Like, will she get to Owen? She's like, my hot cocoa doesn't have gold flakes in it. Oh man. It's like, what is this? Goldschlager? Like 2000s Eric Goldschlager. People have to have little gold fucking
Where was
drink.
Lacey Chabert in Superbad instead of Emma Stone?
Yeah.
You know. Michael Cera would just be like, yeah, I'll bring a Goldschlager. Is that what you want?
Yeah, the whole idea of assembling the Strudelfest is really kind of stupid, but you know, it works for the movie. The Strudelfest itself, though, acts like everybody is struggling in Vail.
Not only that too, they all act like the setup. It's like, here's your buffet, you know, hot, like you're at like a hot dish at like your peepaws, you know, like like, oh, here we go. We have a mac salad for you guys to have.
I think, though, the funniest part in 2020 is that an event planner is like, yeah, we'll help you get into a tour guide book. A tour guide book. Who in their right mind in 2020 is like shopping around, going to places and like, I would like a tour guide book of Vail. Like, that's not...
that's also why the Edelweiss is failing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because they're expecting to get into a tour guide book. It's like, if they were really a truly good event planner, they'd be like making TikToks here. They'd be like, you know, they'd be fucking doing TikTok ads. Like, you know, we got a Facebook ad up there. We got Instagram up there. No, this event planner, Lacey Chabert, is getting a fucking tour guide book out. And no wonder they're failing. Because like no one, it doesn't matter if you're the cover page of a tour guide book. No one's reading it. It's like getting a phone book in the mail.
Only 85-year-olds who aren't going to be like bothered to walk that far because they'd be like, I want to go there, but that's so far away.
Right.
So
they'd be like, you know, they're in Colorado in a nursing home and they're getting the Vail guidebook and they're like, that would be so great if I could get to the Edelweiss, but I can't. Because I'm on...
My children abandoned me.
Yeah, I'm on dialysis. I can't go that far without dialysis. Those are the people getting the Vail tour guide books. So no wonder people aren't going to the Edelweiss.
I'm
that, folks, is what we call a total give out.
I'm sorry.
We'll try to continue from there. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Strudelfest is a success. One thing this movie does have too is it has, like, with Christmas in Rome, the whole baking scene. The whole like no, you can't just have a romance without baking. You have to.
It's foreplay. It's like, you know, like,
right, exactly. It's like, you're gonna put your wet in my dry.
You're like, oh, look at the way he kneads there. Imagine if he did it with other things.
I bet you he could knead my ass like that. Really get in there.
You know what Owen looks like? A man that doesn't go down.
That's true. That's true. It's a little too dirty down there for me.
He's not a bushman of the Kalahari. He doesn't go down there, you know. He's not playing in the muff.
Yeah, but like the baking scenes too are so set up. It's really funny because
everything's Yeah, where's like the real like? I want Lacey Chabert being like, "Where the fuck the eggs?" You know, like like
frustration of like, oh shit, it's burning. Where's the butter? We got to spread it on there.
Because like that's like a discussion I've had before of like you know, wouldn't it be great like if you're watching the Food Channel and like Ina Garten's like, all right, today we're gonna make this nice pasta fajoule, and you guys start off with a nice. I can't believe I forgot the fucking butter, and like you see her speeding down the highways of Long Island, like
I know.
My asshole husband didn't get me my butter.
This is like the Food Network's like executives got there and they were like setting out all the strudel recipe. And it's like at that point, did you really make the strudel or did you just like we talked about this with the Christmas in Rome, whatever I can't even remember what they made. It's like, did you really make it or did you just assemble the ingredients? Like you just literally put them in a bowl.
It's even more egregious in Christmas in Rome. In Christmas in Rome, like literally they're at like the bakery and like everything's perfectly laid out.
The baker came in later on, was like molding the dough. And he was like, yeah, I got this for you. No problem. And like in here too, their strudel comes out looking like immaculate. And they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like, I wish I could make a strudel like that.
Don't you also love too of like how when there is a funny line when Owen and Lacey are at the Edelweiss for the first time, and he's like, "Don't ask me how everything is. I'll just say it's good because I'm the owner's son." And she's like, "So what's the best? What's the best thing here?" And he's like, "Everything." And they have like little snicker and chortle, and that is like a really funny and cute moment because like again, Lacey does in these films does act and is incredibly charming,
of course.
But the funny part is when she's like, again, it's like the playing up to white women of like, you don't have strudel on here, and he's like, what? And she's like, I'm sorry, I have to look at dessert first time. I just have to always look at the dessert first, like because I'm just so naughty,
Yeah. Acting like that's
like that type of attitude of like
sometimes I have a piece of chocolate cake for breakfast. It's just so bad.
I'm just so bad, Like I was laughing so hard. This is like I would because like me, I don't really care for dessert, so I'd be like, yeah, like for dessert, I'll have another schnitzel, like loaded up, like for her. She's like, I'm just so bad. I can look at the first.
What do you think about the ending of this movie? Where obviously we talked about there's that whole like 10-minute conflict of like, will she? Won't she? Is she truly going to go back to her LA roots and do her job there? Or is she going to move to Colorado and live in this nice little chalet?
I do like that they kind of make her going back to her job awful. She's like, yeah, I'm vice president now. And then her boss is like, here's 7 things I need you to work on. And
it's like, 7:00. Like, you're going to be staying in the office. Yeah.
Where is the realism of here? Lacey going home and like just like drinking a bottle of like fucking Yellowtail, and you just sadly
into like a goblet. Is like the whole bottle goes into the goblet.
Yeah, or like she's got a box of Franz on standby, like
where she takes up smoking.
I love work.
She goes out for her smoke break.
Which is great too, because her which is also fun too, because her friend Vienna is a piece of shit. Because she's like, "Wow, I thought you like you maybe you shouldn't have to do all this work."
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's a really bad actress, to be honest with you. Vienna, it doesn't work. It's for me at least. She was really bad. Because she all the time she's like,
it's very like Mac and It's Always Sunny. Like you can't tell me what to do. Like
I love how she acts when
she's John Lovitz, like acting.
I love how she acts when Lacey talks about Owen and she's like, yeah, Owen's here and yeah, we're good friends. And Vienna's like, oh, you're really good friends, are you? It's
which is funny which is funny too, because there's like, just like in all these films, the romance is so neutered. It's so like platonic.
Oh yeah.
It there's no like, oh my, to any of it. It's all just
there's no
he's
like steaminess to it.
He's my man friend that helps me with things. It's also funny too, because like also like aren't these like a lot of these like based off like the books? So like you might be better off just reading the like fucking books on this type of shit, because at least like with they're like, they're going there.
They got
Here it's just like
kink to them. They got a little a little something. Here, there's no kink at all. There, it's not like this movie is showing any sort of interaction between them besides like normal friendship type things. And then you're supposed to at the last like 2 minutes where they're like, actually, I really like you, and then have like one little peck on the lips. You're supposed to be like, wow, I was waiting for that.
Steamy.
I know. Even in the the coldness of the Vail atmosphere, they're emanating heat. And
I was gonna say, it's bad when the Puritans would be like, this is fine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
This is fine entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's not bad. It's just I think it's close to Christmas in Rome. It might not be as good as Christmas in Rome. It's close to it. It's very similar. It's got like all the same beats to it. This is basically like replace all of the things that were in Christmas in Rome with various other elements, and you've got basically the same movie. And
which is also the same thing as Christmas at Castle Hart, except there's not a sidekick to bungle things up where you're going like, oh, she did what?
And no CGI lights either. At least in this one, they actually did set up all of the decorations and stuff. Yeah, I guess so. Let's give this movie a rating. So on a scale of 0 to 10, perfectly constructed strudels, what would you give Winter and Vail?
It's not just strudel. It's apple strudel.
That's true. It's apple strudel.
The strudel of strudel,
which I think I would not prefer. I'm a raspberry strudel boy myself.
Me too.
Yeah, raspberry strudel. If you give me a raspberry strudel, I'm going to eat it. I do like that whole log that they do. I would eat that whole log of raspberry strudel. Apple strudel, I'll take or leave.
I do like too how when they talk about the different strudels for Strudelfest, and there's a strudel coffee creamer, and which sounds good. I would love to try a strudel coffee creamer.
Sure,
delightful. The strudel ice cream, and the guy's like cinnamon and raisin. I'm like, what are you fucking putting in? Like,
why are you including raisin in this?
Yeah, why are you dropping raisins in my strudel ice cream? You fucking idiot!
I don't want raisins. Yeah, right. No wonder you're failing. You're out of Strudelfest.
But still, like, it's kind of funny, like, listening to it. But that's a moot point. I'd give a Winter and Vail 5.5 Mom Jean Lacey Chabert dumpies. It's like, again, all these films have like their strengths and weaknesses. No matter how generic the concepts are. I get it. We're not the market for this. We did this as like a fun little, homage. It's not a bad, like, again, like, you can't, outside of A Christmas Melody, you can't see any of these films are like downright awful, god-awful films, because they're an hour and 24 minutes. They get in, they get out, they do their thing, hit their beats, and go on. The fact that they're all like note by note by note is going to, depending on the subject matter of what the film's covering, is going to be your mileage in the film. This film's fine. Like, there's nothing really offensive about it. Again, it has a lot of the same beats and notes of the previous films we've done. The baking, the, girl boss who leaves her job to find herself, and try to find love. Winter, the setting. It's okay. There's nothing offensive about this film. It's just there's nothing that's also really exciting about the film either. Again, Lacey Chabert is the best part of these films by far. She's easily the one with the most acting talent by far, when she doesn't really even show off. But again, she does have a charm to her, her little like chipmunky smile that kind of radiates out every time she does it. This is a fine film. There's some funny parts, throughout it. Like, again, I do like kind of like the Bavarian, aesthetics to it. Being somebody who has, Bavarian heritage is, it's fine. It's nice. It's kind of cool. It's neat to see. Could have done more with it. Definitely could have done more with the winter atmosphere instead of just like tubing and cross country skiing. But again, I mean, there's not much to say. You're either going to like it. It's either a film that you're going to, if you watch the films that we've done before and you didn't like them, you're going to have a hard time liking this. If you like this, then you're going to like it. If you're going to be meh about it. But yeah, I give it like a 5.5. Again, there's nothing offensive about this film. It's just kind of exists. And I'm kind of glad that Lacey Chabert has her own little kitchen of this is what she does. She gets her payday. And she's happy with it and moves on. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is it sits in a good space between Christmas in Rome and Christmas at Castle Hart. It's probably not as good as Christmas in Rome. I think that's probably the best one that we've done so far, but it's not bad at all. It's really got all of the beats that a Hallmark movie should have. I think it has a better romance than some of the other ones that we've seen, especially Haul Out the Holly. I think that one was definitely the worst that we've done in this Chaberting Gifts series. This one has everything that most people would enjoy about it. It's got the two main leads are attractive and obviously share some sort of chemistry. I think the chemistry is a little bit better here. The romance itself is questionable. Obviously Hallmark is very remiss to do any sort of touching, feeling, physical contact whatsoever. So you're kind of just getting looks. Oh, they passed a look. They are very into each other. But other than that, everything else is pretty decent about it. The set design is decent. The element of the Bavarian village is kind of nice for winter. All of the lighting and decorations is nice. Even though it's not Christmassy, it's more like a winter style festival. I would say it all works very well. Anything that has strudel in it is gonna attract me. Doesn't matter what. So I like that element about it too. It does what it does pretty well, and I would it definitely wasn't as off-putting as something like A Christmas Melody, which was difficult for me to get through. This one does everything fairly well, and it's really, like you said, it's really inoffensive. People will enjoy it for what it is, and if you like Hallmark movies, then you're definitely going to find a lot to enjoy about this one as well. For the people that aren't the market of this type of movie, I think it's still inoffensive enough where you could just sit down and watch it and be like, yeah, that was fine. It's not something that you're going to walk away with remembering. And I watched it almost a week ago. And I still remember it to a certain extent, but yeah, it fades from memory. It's not something that will stick with you and be like, wow, winter in Vail. Really thought about that one. Kept me up at night. But at the same time, it's not really meant to be like that. It's meant to be an escapism for, movie watching. And I think it does what it does pretty well. So I would say it's a good movie, and I would give it probably a 7. I guess I would give it a 7.
Wow, so that's higher than Christmas in Rome.
Yeah, I don't remember. Again, our ratings are really arbitrary. I don't really remember what I gave Christmas in Rome. Whatever I gave Christmas in Rome, give it about the same. 6.5, 7.
See, I think this is a better film than Christmas in Rome. But I think the fact that Franco Nero, Christmas in Rome, literally, just that will forever, out of all the Lacey Chabert films, these are the only 5 Hallmark films that we do by her. That one will radiate the most in my mind. Because, Franco fucking Nero just shows up, and he's to show you,
gives you an additional point right there.
Yeah, just to be you need to show the magic of
Exactly. Yeah.
Look at the baubles. It's baubles.
It gives you an additional point just to have Franco Nero. So I agree. But yeah, this movie is not bad. It's fine to watch. You know, it's not something that you're gonna run out and see, but I think it hits all the right notes. So if you like that style of movie, Winter Veil's gonna be a good one for you. And I think it works as a January movie too. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be a Christmas movie, but it works in terms of just a regular winter movie to watch. So.
Didn't you love too also at Strudelfest how when they're all dancing and having the strudel, there's just random people waving around a German flag, like, and they're just sitting there waving a flag, like very like they don't give a shit because their extras getting paid like $2 during COVID. Like, yay!
I wish we had a Strudelfest. I would go.
We can start. We'll
start. Yeah, we'll start it. It looks so easy. I mean, the film makes it look so easy to make a strudel. Let's just do it. We'll make Grady strudel.
Got to make sure you can see the Edelweiss's menus, though.
That's right. Yeah. So that's our Chaberting Gifts series. I think that's going to end it. We're through the holiday season, and I think we're going to move on to regular movies and probably go bi-weekly for the most part. But here and there, we might do a little check-in, do a little weekly thing. Kind of when a fancy hits us. We're actually almost to 300 episodes, so that's a milestone in and of itself that we'll probably celebrate with something.
What do you mean? Probably. We will. And what episode are we on?
I think this is about 278, maybe? Or something like that.
Okay, so we have a little while.
We got a little while.
So fun fact for 300. It's going to be Carpenter.
Sure.
Yeah, you know.
Was it the last memoirs of the Invisible Man or something like that?
Salt on Precinct 13.
That makes sense. Yeah, probably a better one to do.
I mean, we've done almost all his entire filmography. So
sure, we haven't done.
But I say at this point, we are like scraping the barrel of Carpenter to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I say that is tradition. We have done The Thing, and then we did Escape from New York. So
yeah, we haven't done Memoirs of the Invisible Man. We haven't done Starman.
Elvis.
Yeah, we haven't done Elvis. So there's a couple we haven't done, but yeah, I think that makes sense. Salt on Precinct 13 would be good.
I was joking when I said that. There's one big one we still haven't done.
They Live.
There you go.
We haven't done that one.
Yeah.
I watched that one not too long ago, recently, because it came out in 4K. So yeah, that'd be a big one. So yeah, 300. 300 is a big episode thing. And for 2024, I do have some resolutions that I would like to do for the podcast. One is marketing it more. Getting more advertising out on different podcasts and stuff like that.
Why would you want to do that when we're already the Taylor Swift podcast?
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
We're big. We're big deal.
We're a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah. If you like what you hear,
I was going to say, our next probably big kind of block we've been kind of a little bit bandying about is probably going to be a John Saxon tribute.
It would be fun to do a John Saxon tribute, yeah. I don't know, maybe we'll do that in a light month, like February or something. A time where there's not a lot of stuff going on. I mean, February has Valentine's Day, but
we've ran that well dry. There's no point, kind of.
And John Saxon has a lot to pull from. So
I know.
You could do all kinds of things with John Saxon.
We also are supposed to kind of dip a little bit more into the well of which the show was originally intended for. A little bit more Jallo.
True.
And a little bit, we've been saying to a whole lot of Polizia-Tetsky, which we still haven't done yet. So, new year, new show. No more. We're comic book movie out, friends. So we're done with that shit.
That's true. It probably is not going to happen. Probably not going to do it. All right.
Aquaman's in theaters right now. We couldn't care less.
No, not really. To be honest with you. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our all of our episodes on Chaberting Gifts and the holiday season. Hopefully it made your holiday season a little bit brighter. We are on pretty much any podcasting app that you could think of. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or home base at Spotify. Subscribe to us, leave us a nice review. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. And we have an email address, bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com, where you can write to us, let us know what you like, what you don't like, movies you want us to cover on the show, and we'll take that into consideration. You can also donate to us on our Patreon page or our Spotify page. And anything you donate does go back towards beer, so we appreciate that in advance. Hope you tune in 2024 for our new episodes, as we'll continue on, just as we normally have, bi-weekly at least, sometimes weekly. And hope you enjoy the new season of Blood and Black Rum Podcast. So until the next episode,
take care.